Hi guys, sorry about that. Right.
Good evening, Andy.
Evening,
First
Andy.
one today.
Yeah, your first guy on tonight. Um, yeah, for whatever reason, on my end here it's showing slow mode is on. I'm going to try and turn that off. No, won't let me. No, so it's all going to come in okay from you guys. It's apparently I can only send a message once every minute, but I'm sitting here gobbing off anyhow. So
hello, Percy. Yes, we had a fun day today with Annabella. It was wild.
Do excuse me, I'm exhausted. Out with my granddaughter today, and she's a toddler. Just found her feet, and yeah, so I thought, well, I'll take her for a kilometre or two for around a nature reserve.
Evening, Sam.
And I thought she'd probably want to spend most of the time in the buggy. No, she wanted out, and the game was make the old fart run. Yeah. So I've literally got her on a lead rein. Her favourite game is run away, and then poor old granddad's tooting along behind trying to keep up with her.
So we're both worn out.
Yeah, so we're both pretty knackered. So yeah, just bear with me a little bit tonight. I do apologise. Evening, Sam. Hope you're doing good, mate. Hope you like the video, the Dartmoor camp one, and I hope you're not too offended with my little impersonation. It wasn't meant as any form of ridicule. It was just thought you might find it funny.
Yes, we're other people that love horses.
Oh yes,
we love horses.
Yeah, we definitely are horsey people. I spent most of my childhood riding ponies because my aunt ran a stables. So as a kid, it wasn't something I was happy about because you're going to go and help on the stables. But it gave me a love of the animals, and I enjoy working with them and seeing them work, especially heavy horses and ploughing and forestry removals. We've seen them used for that a few times, and great working animals, great relationship. Thoroughly like them. Know they're not everybody's cup of tea, but at the end of the day, I'd rather see a team of horses working in a forest than a big old machine.
When I was about 14, I was riding my cousin's pony, big black and white sort of gypsy pony, and the Labrador decided to run in between its legs, and the ears went back. And it
Hi, crew. Hope you're all good out there.
To a pond.
No, you're not late. You're not late at all. We're a minute into the show. Right, guys, usual procedures. I'm on Thatcher's Haze tonight, which is a 4.5%. It's not particularly strong. It's nice, quite sweet. Quite enjoy that. And it's been in the fridge for a few days. So, yeah, that's quite good. Ambient temperature here for us today. We're running at about 17 degrees. We have a very slight... It's 24 now.
It did come up. It was 24
today. Got up to 24 today. Yeah. But, yeah, we're dropped down to about 17 now. We've got a little bit of breeze and it is humid. Heads down to the T-shirts, feeling a little bit muggy.
I've got cucumber and watermelon, Dutch tonic water.
Yeah, Kaz is on the Dutch tonic water tonight. Yeah, so I hope you're all doing good. Yeah, the camp was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and I hope you're going to enjoy because I'm away this Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Filming tomorrow. Got filming tomorrow.
And I'm filming tomorrow with Dog Dad, so that'll be a good one. So there's part 2 of Dartmoor was actually a hike me and Mac did. When you look at something on the map and you think that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, it turned into a bit of a schlep, and we didn't get quite as much footage as we wanted to. There's quite a big event running up on the moor this weekend with groups of people brought out of London and youngsters that were brought out of London. So there was a few youngsters about, and obviously I don't want to be filming with these youngsters about. It's not that I can't, I can, because it's public space. However, I'm always a bit sensitive to other people and their feelings. Evening, Law Mice, hope you're doing well.
Brilliant, Sam. That'll make you feel a lot better.
That will help you, Sam. And honestly, it's one of the things that people don't realize. 10 tours, yeah, I'm up for 10 tours. But it wasn't the 10 tours challenge. No, it was. I'll find out more details for you. But apparently, it's a farm on Dartmoor. And what they do is once a year they open up a big old campsite and get people to help. And they bring underprivileged kids out of London. So they come down, they spend a week on the farm, they get to go around them, they'll take them around the moor, they get to see a bit of the countryside and that. And it gives them another experience in life, which, at the end of the day, absolutely awesome. Because if a half dozen of those nippers actually get a genuine love for the countryside and decide when they grow up to move out, good on them, good on them. So it's something everybody should have a chance to experience. 10 tours, I think, was the month before. I think it's July. Um, in actual fact, I believe it was a bit murderous this year. I think the weather wasn't quite what they were expecting. Guys, do excuse me, going to like my cigar. Make the usual apology. If you're a non-smoker, I'm sorry. Don't wish to offend you.
I was going to ask you how your dad was, Foxy Lady.
Yeah, but it's Sunday night in Mitch's pub. So I'm having a cigar and I'm having a drink. The only night of the week that I have a cigar and that I drink. So, welcome to the bar. Sorry, love. Yeah, so the site on Dartmoor, absolutely stunning. And it is I've had a couple of people get back to me, it's not proper wild camping because you've got a portaloo. Okay, it is a proper wild camping site. Okay, this farmer opens up a piece of wild moorland that is on his farm in a beautiful position and leaves it there for you to camp. Right? Yes, he does supply water if you want it. You've got to walk all the way up to the farm to get it. Okay, or you can take from the stream like we did and filter it. Yes, there's a portaloo. I get that, and I completely understand that, and I think that's a bleeding good idea on his part. It's better than it's not a big site. If you can imagine, there were probably 10 or 15 people there over the 2 days we were there. Every one of them digging a hole and filling it. Yeah, it ain't going to be a site for long, is it? Plus, you've got a water course, so you can't, by golden rule, never within 50 metres of a water course. Okay, because at the end of the day, it all leaches in.
Easy, Jim.
Having the portaloo was a real bonus, and it was immaculate. It was kept immaculate. They were going real effort to look after the place. £10 a night in the summer. Yeah, I don't begrudge that at all. It was absolutely beautiful. £2.50 a night in the winter. I do have the option and the ability to rent the entire site. That is everything you saw there, both sides, the wooded side and the field side, next year for a weekend. Okay. If I've got enough people interested in doing a camp, and I've already chatted to a guy on another channel, possibly doing a collab there where he'll invite some of his guys down, and any of you guys interested in coming down, yeah, we think we can probably sort something there where everybody can come down and get together, have a wild camp. Anybody that's not so experienced could learn from other guys, and some of you experienced guys can share tips with me and all the rest of it. Or if you just literally wanted a chilled out weekend in the middle of Dartmoor where you can actually legally, and it's one of the few places on Dartmoor where you can legally have an open fire. Okay, beautiful. Let me know, and we would look into it.
And the farmer's made in the river. He's made several pools, so you can do wild swimming there.
Yeah, it's not particularly deep, 2 feet, but if you wanted a splash, cool off, get yourself refreshed, I'll tell you now.
Yes, we could have catering.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
Jason's online.
Yeah, Jason would be involved in the catering, so there would be something laid on probably on the Saturday night where Jason would do something, and if people wanted to have bacon rolls and bits and pieces like that sorted out, yeah, Jason would be more than up for it, but it'd have to be something that, we would sort out at a later date. People say to me, it's not wild camping, it's not wild camping. Okay, so I can hike up to the highest tor there, been up there many a time, High Will Hayes. It's actually classified as a mountain by about 26 feet, I believe. Desolate, windy, yeah, you've got all the rock structure, it's true wild. So I hike up there to do a wild camp. So I take up my one Tigris tent. I set up exactly what I set up down in the woodland there, and I'm restricted to using a meth stove or a gas burner only for doing my scoff. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's a wild camp. It's a wild camp. We were out in the wilderness, okay? We were out in the countryside. Me and Max sat up till 2 a.m, just looking up, watching the Pleiades going over the meteorite shower, satellites. We could actually, it's dark enough there that you can see the haze from the Milky Way. So yeah, absolutely stunning, and I'd recommend it to any of you. And again, if you want to head down there, Bear Down Farm, was it Bear Down Farm Wild Camping? Google it. Go to him. Harry, he's an absolute stunning bloke. Yes. Really, really nice.
You did say that Annie's asked about the woodland setup for the hammocks. There's some pretty lovely trees.
There's some good trees in there for hammock camping. There's one which I've got my eye on. Might come to fisticuffs over it. And it's actually an oak that's fallen, and then it's continued to grow on its branches. And it absolutely, you'll see it on the video, forms a perfect arch, perfect for a hammock to throw underneath it. Got a little fire pit right in front of it. That was a gem of a spot. You know, you look at something, you go, ooh, that would be the one to spend the night in. And Bear Down Farm is dead centre. It's pretty much slap in the middle of the moors. Okay.
You see Jim's in.
Yeah.
Jim is coming. He sees it.
Oh, hi, Jim. It's all right. Kaz is watching the comments for me because I'm waffling, and yeah, I've had a bit of an issue with my glasses. So my good readers are, I don't know where, probably still down on Dartmoor. These ones ain't the best, so it's a little bit. See me squinting. I do apologise.
You said you're on the background at the moment. Jim was saying you're in on the background at the moment. He's working. Excellent.
All right, Jim. Well,
got biff shit duties, block duties.
Yeah. What's Jim on? Where we? What duties is he on?
ECJ. He said,
do excuse me, guys. Sorry, it's very rude of me.
For ongoing complaints to do there, I've got my biff chip exclusive block duties, but we'll slam my boots in later.
Good man. Good man. Your biff chip is accepted, Jim. Not a problem at all. I expect to see you in here in trainers, but I want to see the rest of the uniform looking smart, pleasant, all-time military manner. Yeah, other than that, yeah, it's all good. All good, yeah, what can I say more about it? And yeah, stunning place. Oh, what a stunning place. Been on and off Dartmoor for years. I also do a lot on Bodmin Moor as well. I'll be doing some videos from that down there, hopefully in the future. There's some cracking spots down there as well. Now, somebody got hold of me and they said, you know, about wild camping, and yeah, it was somebody from, no, it wasn't somebody from another channel. It was somebody that follows another channel and sort of was saying to me about it. So I watched a video today, Backpacking UK. Great guy, right? He knows his stuff. Quite like him. He got caught on a shoot doing a video. Okay, he was set up on a ride. And a ride, for those of you that aren't in the UK, so rides and shooting are pretty much set up for deer management and that, clear shots in heavy woodland. A lot of the city folk think they're fire breaks. Fire breaks are scalped to the ground, so if one section of woods goes up, you can get vehicles up and down it to help fight the fire, and it also slows the spread. A ride is left to grow naturally, but without any shrub cover, so you've got clear line of shot. Usually long grass, things like that, maybe small shrubs like brambles, nettles, things like that. And then the deer will come out and feed on that. You've got a high seat set up, and then and people say, it's not sporting. No, you're not sporting when you're doing deer management like that. You're selecting a buck that needs to come out the herd, or you're selecting a doe that may be in a bad state that she needs to come out the herd. So it's selective management rather than just shooting something for the hell of it. So he got caught on there, got caught by the landowner, explained to him he was making a video. They were worried that he might be somebody a bit dodgy, and it all went good for him. He walked off. And that's my advice, as we've said to people in the past. Do your research, know where you are. Because one of the things he was told by these guys, well, if you contact the state, they might well give you a little spot up here to do your wild camping. Okay? If I was him, I'd be getting back to the estate straight away. it's one of the risks that you take, especially in the UK. Small area of land, masses of people, and yes, we do have field sports here. If you're not careful, you can end up, as we've said in the past, in the fall of shot for somebody that may be doing fox control, vermin control. They may be doing deer management and that, and because you're all camouflaged up and hidden in the woods, yeah, you're putting yourself at risk. So do your research. Make sure, if you're going to go wild camping, my advice to you is do your research, use the OS map, and make sure you're on common land. If you're on common land, you're less likely to have any problems. Common land is managed by local councils and authorities, and invariably they're not interested. Okay, as long as you're not making a mess, you're not lighting bloody great fires and that, they're not too worried. Okay. Anyhow, he come up with some interesting things on his channel. Oh no, in actual fact, what I was getting onto, one of the comments that came up in his channel, I'm not going to say the guy's name, but the guy put up the comment and said, yeah, mate, yeah, I know what it's all about. I know the trouble with shooting and that. Yeah, I spent this week wild camping on military ranges and hiding from the military and the range wardens. Well, I ain't got one thing to say to you, mate. If you ever watch this channel, you're a knobber. Okay? What a way to it. I'll tell you what, let's go wild camping on live firing ranges. There's an adventure for you. Darwin. Darwin had a theory, and you're about to prove it right, my friend. Okay? I do apologise. It's a little bit naughty of me, I know, but there we go. Got no sympathy for people like that. Those people like the chap there that ended up on a shoot. No foul at the end of the day. He apologised. It all went good, and he come off. What can you do? It is, after all, somebody's private land.
Well, you wouldn't have a picnic in the middle of a tank range, would you?
No, especially if they've been training with depleted uranium. Yeah, so in doing that,
definitely, Jim.
So I was sitting there and I was thinking, bloody hell, how daft can you be? I mean, I've been on those ranges working and as a serviceman, and I found it bleeding scary being on the firing line, let alone being off in the woods.
People are strange. I used to work in a booking cell, and I once had a phone call. It works in a booking cell is where they book out areas to train in, and I had a lady ring up, and she was upset about them doing some explosions because she was looking after a friend's dog, and her friend's dog was eating her curtains, and she expected us to stop the military training to stop her curtains getting destroyed.
It's crazy people out there, aren't they? Absolutely crazy people. Another thing I'd like to say, as I like to do every week, is thoughts and prayers, guys. Thoughts and prayers go to the guys in Canada. 400 wildfires in the Columbia province. 30,000 households been told to evacuate. 30,000 households. Average families, 4, possibly 6. It's a lot of people. Then you've got all those poor people up there that are farmers with livestock, damage to the wildlife and everything else. It's hellish. It's hellish. So thoughts and prayers go out to them. Anyhow, so what I thought I'd do tonight is, as we've been wild camping this week, 10 things I think about, okay, when I'm wild camping. And I know somebody else has recently done a very similar thing, and mine's very similar to his, maybe in a slightly different order, okay? So, 10 things I think about when I'm going wild camping. Well, first of all, okay, it's know the area. Know the ground you're going over, know the place you're going to, do your research, use an OS map, look at the terrain, do a bit of research, use the internet, whatever, look at the weather conditions, what are the flood risks. I mean, we were up on the moors there are rivers there. I looked at the rain and the weather conditions that predicted, because it can rain 5 miles away and cause flash flooding downstream. These things do happen. Have a look on the internet, the Boscastle disaster. It's exactly what happened. A few miles away, massive cloud burst, and the next thing you know, village is almost washed away. So know your terrain, know your environment, and when you're doing that, also look at your escape routes. And again, it's not a panic. Oh, I've got a planner. You sit there. Now, where's the road? If I've got somebody who could wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and it's in flood and it's going to hell, what's my route out of here? what's the best route for me, which one goes uphill, which takes me to the road, which takes me out of here. And it's just a quick thought. It's just a quick look. It's like, yeah, I can get up through there, be safe. Okay, so that comes in first for me. Secondly, choose the right shelter. Okay, whether you're using tents, tarps, bivvies, fishing bivvy, whatever system you're using, whether you're just going to go in a bivvy bag. Think about the conditions, the environment. Again, do your research and make sure that you've got your shelter system sorted. First rule of survival, sort shelter. Okay. Thirdly, pack what you need, but also don't underpack. We get people that look underpack is pretty much not taking. There's this big thing about being light, being ultralight. Now, being light is good, but there becomes a point of stupidity, and I've seen it recently. A couple of videos where people have gone up onto mountains, moorlands, and places like that, and then they've got to the early hours of the morning. I've got to come off because I'm too cold, or I'm too wet, or my shelter system has blown away. Pack and prepare properly. Make sure you've got the kit with you, and also think about, and it's always in the back of your mind, what if it all goes tits up? Okay, what if I lose my tent? What if I lose my shelter? What have I got? You've got your survival sack or whatever. So an extra couple of pounds is all I'm ever thinking, just as a backup. It's worth having, and it might not be for you. You might well come across somebody that's had an incident up there, in which case you having that extra little bit of kit is going to save their life. Makes you a hero, and makes you feel good. Fourth, know your Wildcamp rules for where you are, where you're going. Okay, so some places you're not supposed to be there, but there is a tread softly approach. Okay, and this is a recognised thing in the UK by all wild campers. Leave no trace, do no damage. Right, come late, leave early. Okay, the idea is don't be noticed. Yeah, don't try and show off. Don't be noticed, and that way we get away with it. We fly under the radar. Simple as that. Remember, quite often there are places in the UK like the Lake District where you're not allowed to wild camp. Okay, simple as that. Their bylaws say you're not allowed to wild camp, but they tolerate it. They allow it. And there's places all over the UK where the local authorities pretty much go, look, he's not doing any harm. Let him get on with it if he's gone in the morning. Yeah. So you work that way.
18 kilos for one night. Yeah.
Sleep systems, be comfy. Remember, warmth saves life. Okay. That tent or that sleeping bag you just bought at the car boot sale for £4.50 that's 27 years old and had the stuff it knocked out of it might have once been a military sleeping bag. Don't think it is any longer. Yeah.
It's not even good enough for a dog bed.
Yeah. And again, where are we up to? Where are we up to now?
5.
5? Okay, 6. Emergency procedures. Okay, again, I know it's always harping on about survival and emergencies. Yeah, but some emergency procedures. Make sure you plan your route. Make sure somebody knows where you're going. Stick to your route. Stick to your objectives. Okay. If something goes wrong and you're not back by a set time, the emergency plan goes into action. Simple as that. And people are liable to find you. Okay. Use things like 3 words, and also back it up with map, compass. Right. Grid references still work. I heard somebody the other day going, "Oh yeah, we don't use grid references anymore because emergency services don't." Yeah, they don't, but they still understand them. And if you're good at grid references, you're down to feet. Okay, so yeah, use what you can. Try and save yourself. And if you can get yourself a GPS marker, get one. I know they're expensive, but at the end of the day, it's a worthwhile bit of kit. If you're really going off the beaten, yeah, it's a worthwhile bit of kit. The fact that you can just literally hit a button and it sends that signal, I'm here, I need help. Okay, goes out to emergency services. And of course, make sure your phone's charged and make sure it's working. But also, as we found on Dartmoor, you're not always going to get a signal. Yeah. And that's another thing I tend to I like to do, and I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I like working in pairs. I like working in teams. It's nice to share the adventure and the environment with somebody else. Right? You can talk about it for weeks and weeks and weeks afterwards. You know, you sit there, do you remember going up that bit was such enjoy that. Okay, it's one thing to be out there absolutely on your own, and there are days when I do want to be out there on my own. Okay, but quite often when I'm planning things like the Dartmoor, or if I'm planning to go up into the hills, mountains of Wales, and so on, I would rather do it as a team. Okay, bit different when I was younger, but I'm 57 now. Okay, I'm aware that health isn't what it was, and I am now in a risk zone, especially as I smoke. Okay, so again, just having a buddy with you, it can save your life. Yeah, keep that weather eye open. It changes quickly, and know what to do if it turns bad. Plan, plan, plan. Simple as that. Have your shelter system. Keep an eye on the weather. It's going tits up. It's time to either get off the hills like me and Mac did, and it was sod's law, and it's quite often the way. Look at the weather; it's getting bad. Right, yeah, we'll drop down into this valley instead of crossing the bukits that way. We'll drop down into the valley, run through the bottom of the valley, go a little bit longer way round. Got down to the bottom of the valley, and it just blew over. Happens, but I'd rather that and a little bit more effort than being up on the hills there, suddenly finding that we're really, really in trouble. Okay. Um, Yeah, where are we now? Where are we? That's seven.
Six. No, you just did six.
Done 6, 7. Right, 8. I'm up to 8 according to this, but 8. Be responsible. Be discreet. Yeah. Be nice. Think about your actions. Everybody I meet. Yeah. Dog walkers, horse riders, other walkers. You're right. Yeah. Be friendly. And it's surprising that when something does go wrong, it's there for help. The other thing is, if you're friendly with people, as I've had it in the past, morning, how are you? Yeah, no problem. You're not going up such and such, are you? Well, yeah. Oh, bridge is out. You need to go round such and such way. You know? Oh, thank you very much. You saved me a 10-mile hike there. Okay.
Well,
so again,
you ran into.
Yeah. Simple as that. Be pleasant. Be nice. And like I say, be responsible and discreet. When I say responsible and discreet, um, like you saw in the video, that fire pit up literally right on the top of the hill there, a fire pit just left. Yeah, it just bugs the crap out of me. It really does.
Evening, Ray.
Evening, Ray. Hope you're all good, mate. And food, water, drink. Okay, make sure you've got enough for what you need to do. And what I always do, if I'm doing a 1 day, I pack for 2 days. If I'm doing 2 days, I'll pack for 3 days. I always stick an extra 24 hours on there. From my own experience, when it does go bad, it's never right at the beginning when you sit there and go, right, okay, don't work, put the shelter up, we're going to be stuck in here, we'll wait the weather out. 72 hours later, you're down to the last flapjack looking at your mate, deciding who's going to have that flapjack. So again, plan that extra 24. When it does go bad, 24 hours. So yeah, if you like to think of it this way, 3 meals in 24 hours. If you've then got to sit it out, right, you half that down. Okay, so you're taking 24 to 48, and with what you've got left over from the other stuff, you're now in a situation where you can push yourself out for 3, maybe 4 days in an emergency. But if you've already got your emergency plan in place, worst case scenario, you're going to be up there 24 hours, possibly 48 if it really, really was that bad. Okay, and lastly, it's the one nobody wants to discuss. Poo. Okay.
Sorry.
Poo. Okay. Just be sensible about it. Okay. If you've got to do a shovel recce, you've got to do a shovel recce. Yeah. No closer than 50 metres from any water course. Dig it good and deep. Make it good and discreet. Simple as. Yeah. Sanitary products, things like that. Bag and bring them out. Okay. For those of you that are ex-military guys, you've been in the situation where you're bagging poo as well. We've all had to do that. Load it up, put it in a bag, sling it in your bag, and carry it out with you. Okay, good OPSEC. So at the end of the day, it's not something that's nice, but yeah, it's something that you've got to give a bit of thought to. Things like wet wipes and that don't biodegrade so well in the moor, or out in the wild. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Well, bears do, squirrels,
Yep.
raccoons.
Hmm.
Unless you're unlucky and they do it on your tent.
Yeah. So that's my 10. That's pretty much, and it's not a set rule. It varies depending on the conditions, where I'm going, what I'm planning to do, whether or not I'm, yeah, whether I'm, how far I'm going. Am I doing a circular route? Am I coming back the route I went out on, and so on. Okay. So a little bit more about Dartmoor whilst we're about it. So any of you that wanted to do the route we've done, you'll look for, or you'll want Ordnance Survey Explorer Map OL28, and it's the Explorer map. It's 1 in 10,000. Okay, you're not going to have a problem finding Bear Down Farm. Basically, look for Princetown. It's literally on the centre part of the. It's in the centre of the moor, and it's a reversible map. Okay, so it's either going to be on the top edge or the bottom edge. You'll find it. You can't miss it. Okay, old name for the moor was the Crocken, and that goes way back to before the Anglo-Saxons. And the Crocken was believed that it represents the spirit of the moor, yeah, the ancient god of the moor. And by golly, when you're up there, you start to believe, yeah, it's that sort of environment. Bear Down Farm itself, like I say, is slap bang in the middle. The closest tours to it, so if you wanted to use that as a base and do a good circular walk, and I mean a very good circular walk, you can leave the campsite and walk up to Bear Down Tor. And Bear Down Tor is 513 metres. You can cut across from that to the next tor, which is about 2.5k from there. That's Devil's Tor. That's 549 metres. Turning slightly right, cut across to Rough Tor, which sits at 547 metres. But the drop there, you're dropping from 549 down to about 450, and then climbing. So it's a saddle. It's not a monster. Okay. The two local rivers there. One is the Cowsick, which I kept calling the Dart. I got it in my head as a Dart. You know, it's like your brain's playing with you. It's actually a Cowsick, and it runs through the Cowsick Valley. Don't know where the word comes from and that, but it's probably an old West Country word. And you've got the West Dart River. Okay. Now, if you come out the site, turn left, walk down the road about half a k. You come to two bridges. Turn left there and follow the West Dart River. For about 4 miles, you have Wistman's Wood, which is an ancient forest. It's one of the oldest forests in southern England. It's absolutely stunning. Have a look at it on the internet. It will be a visit next time we're down there. Okay. If you want amenities, Princetown is 2 miles away, and that's got everything, including that beautiful calf and the family there. Absolutely brilliant. Absolute cracking meal. Really nice people, great environment. You know, we were having a laugh and a joke with them. It was wonderful. Now, the other thing you'll notice on the map is there's a large area of military training areas there. Okay, and if you Google Dartmoor firing times /gov.uk, there is a 6-week plan updated regularly, which gives you 6 weeks of firing times, lets you know when the ranges are in use or when they aren't. So again, if you wanted to go up and look at things like High Will Haze and get onto really high moors, or even just wanted to go for a stroll around the training areas there, it's an artillery range, and I believe there's 2 rifle ranges there. But you want to have a stroll around that, you can do. One of the nice things, and it's something I do enjoy, I've been known to go down to the Senny Bridge. When you know there's no firing on and you get onto the military training areas, when they allow access, then you really are on the wild moors, because these areas don't have people. They don't have dog walkers strolling through them on a regular basis. They are closed to the public for most of the year. So when they are open, make the most of it, because that's when you're going to see it in its true wilderness. It's absolutely stunning. Kaz took some notes for me. So again, I can follow that up on Dartmoor for you. So Dartmoor covers 368 square miles, same size as Greater London. In 1950, it was estimated to be 30,000 ponies on Dartmoor. Okay, these have been used to carry goods, do farm work, and also worked in the tin mines. Today, there are only about 1,500. This number is made up mostly of pedigree Dartmoor ponies, heritage ponies, hill ponies, and Shetland and Welsh ponies. Also, there are a few spotted ponies. Of these ponies, only 300 are actually registered. So they are wild ponies. They're just out there doing the pony thing, which is wonderful. Graze the environment and the rest of it. Yeah.
They will nibble your tent.
They will nibble your tent, yeah.
They'll stomp on your stuff.
They'll come and have a nose. There's 160 tours to explore. Tours, for those of you that aren't aware, large hill, granite outcrop on top. Sometimes I think the smallest one is 98 feet. Yeah, 98 feet. And the largest one being High Wheel Haze, which is down here. Kaz has got it down here. So it's 2,039 feet. Okay. So yeah, brilliant. It's 164 tours. So 65% of the rock of the moor is granite. It's tough old rock. Yeah. So ancient sites, the oldest archaeological ruins date back to the Stone Age. Dartmoor is most famous for its Bronze Age remains, which are everywhere. You're going to see standing stones, stone rows, cairns, quoits. You name it, quoits. They are everywhere. Okay. Yeah. There's stuff you can't. You look on the Ordnance Survey map, you can't move for stone circles in ancient history. And again, because the moor is open, yes, you could go and camp at a stone circle or a stone row and that. The only thing I will say, again, is if you're going to be in places like that, just bear in mind for some people that it's part of their faith systems, be a little bit respectful. Yeah, don't upset the fairies or the fae folk. Apparently they'll lead you astray into the moor and off to the peat bogs. Pixie led, that's what they call it. I was trying to think of the term, yeah. So old myth and legend down there, if you don't respect the moor, the pixies will lure you away to the peat bogs, never to be seen again. Okay. Which is a bit different to being lured away to the military bogs, because you are usually seen again, but it's not in the same condition as you went in.
176, wow, because perhaps there's some that the particular site I was looking at don't recognise as being full tours. What
you'll probably find is where they put the 176. What is classified as a tour of hill, because we got in this discussion down there. So there's a couple of places down there that used to be tours and no longer referred to as tours because they don't have the granite outcrop on the top. But you also have places like Bear Down Tor. So Bear Down Tor actually consists of 3 different tours. Okay, so it's 3 different granite peaks that are about a K apart, but it's all on the one hill. So I think it's down to whatever group, how they measure it and how they decide. Yeah. So on the hillside of the north of Stone Row circles a large Bronze Age settlement just outside Princetown. This is made up of the remains of 50 roundhouses, which must have been Maryvale. Yeah, must have been a large gathering. One of the largest buildings there is 8 meters across. Okay, so we're talking about Bronze Age buildings. That's quite a big building for the Bronze Age, and was probably a meeting hall. These people would have farmed cattle and sheep, and they date back over 3,000 years. The rivers on Dartmoor are home to otters, salmon and trout, as they are clean, fast-flowing. 90% of Dartmoor is farming, with 50,000 cows, sheep and ponies. Yes, again, as it says, as Kaz has noted here, adhere to the bylaws. They're quite simple down there. It's the old rule with gates. If it's open when you get there, leave it open. And if it's closed, by golly, close it. And evening, Derek. Yes, we have been to Loch Ness.
Disappointed, sorry.
Yeah, I went to Loch Ness and actually got thrown out of the visitor centre, but I'll tell that story in a minute. I was told to go away and never come back. Yeah, and again, things like dogs and that, just be aware you've got sheep stuff down there. And again, just be aware, British law is quite simple. If your dog is worrying livestock, the farmer is entitled to shoot it, okay? And it can be shot pretty much on site, okay, if it's worrying that livestock. Yeah. And again, yeah, something they're really, really hot on down there. No disposable barbecues. In actual fact, you won't find them for sale in the garages and shops in a lot of the places. Obvious reasons. Prison was built in 1809 to hold prisoners of war, and is a still working prison today. And by golly, it's a grim-looking place. I wouldn't fancy being in there.
Especially see it on a wet, dreary day.
Yeah,
you think, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a prison that was built to break people, and just by sight alone, it's a grotty place. But then it's a prison; it's there for punishment, isn't it?
Loch Ness.
Loch Ness. Now there's a story. Aye. So, how many years ago was that? It wasn't that long ago, was it? 7 years. Yeah, that's 7 or 8 years ago. We decided we'd have one of our many adventures up in Scotland, and normally we go to the western side of Scotland. But this time we decided to go over to the east coast. We went to a place called Nairn, which is up near Inverness. And whilst we were there, we're sort of people, if we go somewhere we want to explore. Some people like to go and stay in like one small area. We'll go up with the vehicle and
you get an OS map and we go, right, we've got this here, this there, that there.
Average daily mileage is between 150 and 200 miles exploring. You know, we would just drive to whatever we want to go and see. So we decided, right, Loch Ness. Neither of us have been there before. Let's go and have a look at Loch Ness. We have a look at the map, and yes, you can drive right the way around it. You can circumnavigate it. So that was our plan. We'll circumnavigate Loch Ness. We'll get as many photos as we can. We'll have a bit of an adventure. I'll go visit the castles, and we'll go do the whole thing. So off we went. I was quoted a ridiculous, I forget what it was now, but it was a ridiculous amount to park in the car park to walk out and see the ruins.
The castle is actually goes out into the on
the spit, isn't it?
Yeah. And the hedges have grown up that much on purpose, so you couldn't get photographs from the car park. You had to actually pay to go down under the tunnel
to the point where they shut lay-bys in various places, which actually you can literally drive along and go, that's going to be a beautiful photograph from the other side of the lock. Oh, lay-by closed. And then, again, people have got to make money, I suppose. But we went to the visitor centre. So there we go. Mick and Caroline at the visitor centre at Loch Ness. It's a wonderful place. Lovely car park. Lovely building. Kaz tootles in. I follow her in. And there's a guy stood there in full Highland regalia, complete with his broadsword in the doorway. And he said, and I'm no good at accents, but I'll try. Aye, you're having a good visit to Scotland. And I thought, being the sort of practical joker I am, I thought, got him here, I'll have a giggle. And I looked at him and I went, no, actually, I'm a bit bloody disappointed, you know. I come from southern England, literally as far away as possible from here. And I've driven for 24 hours. And I've driven right round the lake. And I'm very disappointed. I haven't seen the monster. And he looked at me and he went, I know you think that's very funny. And I went, well, get a sense of humour then. Well, they escalated from there and I was probably asked to leave the building and never return. So I had to go and sit in the car, wait for Kaz to come out.
We've actually found that because to see the castle on Loch Ness was so it was made so you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
We actually went round the loch, and as we got to the other side, we used my cameras. I was able to zoom right back across the loch to see them. Funny is Alistair Cowley the house was on the edge of Loch Ness, and so I believe it was Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin owned it for a while. But strange place.
Bears do, Sam. I know. I've trodden in it. I can positively remark the fact that bears do it in the woods, and it's a stinky old pile. Yeah, Loch Ness. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it was a stunning day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
It
lovely
was
day.
well worth a visit.
saw
Don't
some
let me
beautiful-
take it away from that. It was well worth a visit. The
was lots of stags.
scenery was fantastic. The wildlife was fantastic. We did thoroughly enjoy it. It was just one guy that had no sense of humour, or maybe I was just being a bit mean. I don't know. But I did it. I did say to it, yeah, I'm sorry, mate.
They weren't happy with me either because I asked them. I wanted a haggis, not an edible haggis, but maybe an ornament or a little soft toy that was like a haggis to take back for a friend. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
You get Loch Ness monsters, you get Highland cows, sheep, but not a haggis. Nothing like that. It was,
A bit disappointed, wasn't
yeah.
it? Bit disappointed. But the west coast of Scotland,
Yeah.
we thoroughly enjoy it. I like the ruggedness of that. And later in the year, we are going up to the gateway to the Highlands. We're going up to visit Crieff with Mac, and he's going to show us some of his old stomping grounds up there. So that will be an interesting video. He's already told me to take my walking boots and my extra set of lungs because apparently I'll need them.
But Scotland, if you can get to Scotland, there's so many beautiful places. We've been to Skye, we stayed on Skye, and we've visited Skye for a few days.
Yeah.
And that is like it's another world.
Yeah.
And same with Mull.
Yeah.
Went on safari to Mull
Been and
as
done
well.
the islands. The other thing with Scotland as well, a lot of people see at the moment, quite a bit of Scotland, apart from Loch Lomond and the Trossachs, you can pretty much camp anywhere as long as you're respectful and you don't damage the environment and you're sort of respectful to the people that live there, i.e. you're not sort of popping up in somebody's back garden. They don't have the same trespass laws that we do down here. However, there is an issue boiling away at the moment where so many people have gone wild camping, and of course, YouTube partly to blame. Somebody does a video, everybody wants to go and do the video at the same lovely spot that they did it. Okay, and what's happened is some places are just getting overused, and it's creating issues. A contact of ours within the Hampshire Hog Hunters, he works with the police and that, and he's saying it's starting to become a problem. Some of the locals are really getting upset because roads are getting blocked. They can't get access in and out because there's cars literally parked down the verges and stuff. There are people that are not respecting the locals. I don't care if it's your farmer's field. I'm camping here because I can. Things like that. So it's starting to cause issues. And if people aren't careful, if they aren't a little bit more respectful, they're going to lose it. Because there's one thing I do know about the Scots, okay, they are a feisty old bunch. And if they decide to get their back up, all right, it's gone. And it won't come back.
Places like Glencoe, you've got to take it seriously.
Yeah, you're right, Sam. You have exactly the same problem in York Moors. You also have the same problem in York Moors as they have in Dartmoor. And this is an interesting fact for you. More people die on Dartmoor and Bodmin every year from exposure than die on Ben Nevis or any of the Scottish mountains. And this is purely and simply because people turn up, they don't really know what they're doing. They have a look and they think, oh, this is what I'm going to go and do. And they're not respectful of the environment. It's a funny old thing. When you're looking at a huge craggy mountain that goes up 3,000-4,000 feet, you tend to make sure you've got the right gear for it. Purely and simply because you look at it, well, some people do. You look at it and you go, oh, yeah, that could be dodgy. Well, Sam's up on the York Moors, and I've been up around the York Moors myself a few times. Same as Dartmoor. Weather can change like that, and because it's high and it's exposed, it will come in evil. Same thing with the Lake District. And people get caught out.
Wales.
Yeah, Wales. See people, just a pair of flip-flops, pair of shorts, T-shirt, You know, yeah, I've got me rucksack. I've got 500 mils of water in there, and you know,
No
pork pie. Don't need jackets. Beautiful day. Now they're the ones that end up there with hypothermia. And again, with all these situations, it's the guys that run the mall and rescue, the volunteers, the mountain rescue and so on, which are all volunteers. They're the ones that are going to turn out in that dire weather, usually in the early hours of the morning, to try and pull you off alive. So they're putting their lives at risk as well.
So there's 3 hikers that died on Glencoe.
Yeah.
About a week ago now, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just if they just had that little bit of kit, and I'm not talking about carrying masses, but just that little bit of kit where they can literally go, okay, doke, it's turned bad, hunker down, set up, keep ourselves going. Invariably, what happens? They haven't got the kit, they keep moving, and they get more and more and more lost. And in worst case scenarios, they do things like walk off cliffs, which I've had people say to me, how the hell can you walk off a cliff? Well, I've been in fog that is that dense that I can't see my hand in front of my face. It's that thick. So in those situations, what they do, they look down at their feet and they keep walking, or they're looking around and they keep walking, and it's just one slip, one trip. I'm not talking about literally walk off into the air, but you get close to the edge of some of these things and it slopes away and it's slippery and it's a bit grotty, and over you're gone. You know, so it's a case of common sense.
There are mine shafts out there as well, isn't there? The tin mines.
Oh, that's the other thing up on the moors. Yeah, Bodmin especially is full of what you full nuclear orange. I love Hudson Away. I'll say it in a minute.
It says 93 full nuclear orange purple.
Yeah. So again, it's on bombing more tin mines, and a lot of those have air shafts, and yeah, some of those air shafts have been grown over the years, and that the stones that marked them and kept them safe have been chucked down the hole by people. Some of those shafts can go down 200-300 feet.
It's screams.
Oh, I'm struggling, mate. I'm like, it's an age thing, isn't it? What can you do? I don't think Mac's going to be joining us tonight from the Hampshire Hog Hunters. I know he's had a really busy week. Weather is a mystery. Yeah. It's also a challenge, and it's a challenge to be relished. It's a challenge to be enjoyed. One of the best experiences weather-wise I've ever had, apart from naked surfing on Boxing Day at Bude. That was fun. It's a charity thing. Was coming off of the Sunnybridge training area, right, and been up there for a week. And for you guys that aren't in the UK, Sunnybridge training area, it's a Welsh mountain training area, and it is god awful. Okay, the reason the MOD got it is literally because nobody, not even the Welsh, wanted it. It is one of those places of the world where the sheep hate it. Sheep actually die before they get on it. It's just one of those spots. In the right day, it can be the most stunning, beautiful place you've ever seen. But the majority of the time, I can only describe it as miserable. Okay, cold, wet, damp, windy, bone-chillingly windy, and god awful. And that's why the military use it for training. Yes, any fridge.
Yes.
But I tell you what, came off after a week, went into the shower block and just stood under that hot shower. That was the experience. The just wasn't the cold and the wet. It was the recovery from it afterwards. It wasn't the beer. It wasn't the meal. It was literally just stood in the shower with your head against the wall like that, and the tap was just on full, and it was scalding. It was as hot as hot could be, and you just, that was wonderful, wonderful. There's nothing better than that feeling. You know, it's like a hot bath after a hard day's work. Just sit back, soak, let all those aches, let the cold leaves out your bones. It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. Sounds like Yorkshire. Yeah, it's a bit like Yorkshire, not quite. Yeah, I would take Yorkshire at about an 8 on a bad day. And Sennett Bridge is going to be sort of 15 plus. It just really is one of those places. To the point,
you weren't depressed, you were depressed afterwards.
To the point where I swore blind I would never visit the damn place ever again. Yeah, never. Yeah, it's just not good memories. But again, like I say, it's that beauty of that, and it's weather is it's a challenge. It's a challenge to be enjoyed. There's nothing better than sitting there when the wind's blowing a hoolie and it's bitterly cold, and you've got your shelter sorted up, and you've got your fire going, you've got your admin organised, and you look out and you go,
Sitting there with your hot chocolate.
yeah, I'm gonna make it through this, not a problem. Yeah, it's that relish, that challenge, and the same thing with heat. Heat's the same. I mean, heat to me, I mean, I'm better in cold than I am heat. Heat tends to drag me down a little bit, but when you can get cool, that point where whether it's the weather breaks and you're actually in a cold or a little bit of cooling rain, a little bit of a breeze that's just taking the edge off, it's a wonderful, wonderful feeling. And especially when you're out in it. Okay, we've all done it at home where the weather breaks and you're like, oh, thank God for that. But when you're out there, yeah, it's even better still because you just sat there. You're like, yeah, got it. I've got it. I've cracked this.
Yeah, Derek, those stone bridges in that video, they're the old style, old, hundreds of years old.
Yeah,
they got
thousands of years in some cases.
Keep them together. There's this Post Bridge place.
Yeah. So that bridge there, some of those bridges go back 1,000 years. They are the original. Go right back to Iron Age and that. People were fording these rivers, Bronze Ages and that. And people have lived there. People lived there. They actually reckon more people lived on the moor 3,000 years ago than do today. Okay, so these small communities would have obviously travelled between one another. They would have traded. They would have worked together. They would have swapped brides. Whatever.
Those paths were gone across the bridges.
So
they take all the animals and the walk geese.
Yeah.
And all sorts.
So they forded them originally, and then as the communities got big and strong enough, they used just literally what was there to build they're called a clapper bridge, CLAPPER. And they're all over the moors down there, all over the place. And what they reckon was originally there would have been stepping stones, and then as communities got enough numbers, guys got brave enough, they would just literally find stones to suspend between the stepping stones and build a basic bridge. Some of them are a bit scary. You're halfway across a couple of them, and you're like, crikey, if I trip now, it's going to hurt. It is beautiful across, and it's granite. It's all granite. It's like I said in the video, they must have been solid boys. To work granite is hard and heavy. And walls everywhere you go down there, it is granite stone walls, absolutely everywhere. And some of the craftsmanship in them, Matt was saying, you're always talking about Machu Picchu and places like that where the stones all fit perfectly. So you look at a good dry stone wall, it's just the same level of, well, it's not quite the same level, but it's just magical to look at.
Cement or it keeps together. It's just the way
no cement, just laid perfectly, infilled with a bit of rubble. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, Derek, I'd love to get you over here. I'd love to. You absolutely adore the moors, mate. You really enjoy that. It's a very, very, very spiritual place. Okay, and again, I know I was always saying on this channel, don't do politics, don't do religion. Okay, I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about spirituality. I'm talking about there is something about the place that deep down inside you sort of Hi, John. How you doing, mate? No, don't
Hi,
worry
John.
about being late. Oh, you're on a trip. Excellent. You'll have to tell us more. Yeah, it is spiritual, and it's a natural spirituality. You can't help when you're up on places like that, and you're walking amongst the trees that are hundreds of years old, over boulders that are millions of years old, using paths that are thousands of years old. There is a connection. Takes you back. You know, me and Matt were saying one of the things was it was like taking water from the river, right? Filtering that water, drinking that water river. It was, hi Mac, oh you made it, excellent. That water was absolutely stunning. You know, it was refreshing. That was clean. It was natural, and it's getting that connection back to your ancestors.
I love the granite and the water flowing and the sound of water going past you. It's
Yeah. A couple of people said, "Oh, weren't you disturbed in the night by the river?" No, we weren't disturbed in the night by the river, but on the opposite side of the river, at about 5 o'clock in the evening, a car turned up and a group got out, and I didn't get a chance to talk to them, but it looked like grandson, dad, and granddad. Okay, and it's one of those places where everybody just does their own thing, and they walk past us. They walked down and they started setting up their tents, and then they walked back to the car. And this is a working farm, it's a sheep farm. And one of the things that Harry tells you when you go there is, please do not leave any of the gates open. We move the sheep around the farm on the tracks. Don't leave the gates open. So their campsite is about 100 metres from the gate. And so they'd walk up to the gate, open the gate, leave the gate open, go to their car, which is about 20 metres away. Well, that's not so bad. And then walk all the way back down to their site, leaving the gate open. And so, yeah, I'll walk up, shut the gate. Then they'd repeat it. So then me and Max started dropping like verbal hints as they went past, like, you really shouldn't leave the gates open, you know, it's a working farm, the livestock could get out, you know, just loud enough, friendly enough to sort of make them hopefully go, oh yeah. Completely ignored us, completely ignorant to anything we said. Well, we did notice them building their campfire. Now, it's granite, river wash granite stones down there, so as you saw in my fire, it's ringed with the stones. Well, they sort of stuck their stones together and built their fire on it. And they didn't build what I would call a sensible, discreet, sensible, what you need fire to keep you warm and cook on. No, they were having a fire. They were building something that you could see from 20 miles away. It was going to be almost like a beacon. And we crashed out, like I say, about 2 in the morning. Been in bed about half an hour. And initially, I thought it was a gunshot. Both me and Mac, with that sort of life experience, it was like, what the fuck? Excuse my language, but it was like, that was a gunshot. And it was a proper crack bang. And I'm like, bloody hell. And then I sort of rationalised it and went, it's all right, probably fox shooting. It's a working farm, you know, the sheep might be up there doing foxes, in which case, no worries, nobody's going to shoot at us. And then, boom, and then, boom. And it was the stones where they built their fire. Their stones were exploding. They were going off like fucking bombs. And they went off for about half an hour, and then obviously they either put the fire out or it had blown the fire all over the place. So, yeah, it sorted itself out. But yeah, and then in the morning to top it all, whoa, angry face. Oh, what's going on? Really, really got close to me going over and gripping somebody by their neck and standing on it in the water. Grandad walks to the river, pops his old man out, and urinates in the river upstream from me. There's a bloody portaloo, 25, 30 metres from him, or there's a bush behind him. But no, got to go and pee in the river. God, I was... Yeah, granite grenades. It really was granite grenades. And that'll do you some damage. But yeah, peeing in the river, I was like, there's some people just, should not be allowed in the countryside at all. you know. But yeah, but it didn't ruin it for us, I will say. And part 2, which will be up Thursday night UK time, I'll probably set it up for about 10 o'clock UK time. Yeah, that was a bit of fun. That's me and Max hike from Princetown to a place called we originally set the goal of Sharp Tor, and we actually ended up going about another 2k to a place called Meltor. Because when we got up to our destination, looked across the next one, and went, blimey, look at the view from there.
Good evening, Mick.
So travelled on a bit further. Hi, Mike. How you doing, mate?
Shame you miss Mac and
yeah, that would have been cracking.
Tavistock.
Did you manage to get to the cafe, Mike? I don't know why I'm shouting. It's it's a long way away.
Oh, yeah, that's very true. Did you have any children?
Oh yeah. I just, but again, my 10 years ago, I'd have probably gone across there, and fucking set fire to their tent or something. But these days, I tend to be a little bit more chilled out. But it is. It was just lazy and ignorant. And in his mind, he was probably like, "Oh, what a wonderful thing, peeing in a river. Great."
It's from trout going.
Yeah. I'm just glad the poor couple downstream of us weren't drawing water from the river.
That young lady was wild swimming.
Yeah, wild swimmers. Oh, yeah, we like a bit wild swimming. Went to Tintagel today. Excellent, mate. Oh, yeah. So you're...
Did you have a pasty?
Yeah, you're exploring... Now, everybody here. So, Mike Lovegrove, he's a very, very good friend of mine. And when he was a very young man, he used to come down to Cornwall with us on holidays and things like that. And now he's doing the same thing with his family. So, again, it all rolls on and on and
Same
on.
as
and
Mac
on.
and his daughter.
Yeah,
Our son.
Yeah. So it's all adventures, all great fun. So you're having a good time, I'm glad. Not enough contact counselling.
There's a nice little witchcraft shop in Tintagel. Get my incense sticks from.
Yeah, and then you've got the Witchcraft Museum down in Boscastle.
Yes.
Yeah. One of the oldest in the UK, I believe. Yeah. It's always an interesting place to stroll around for a bit of ancient history and that. Yeah, so that was part 2. Yeah, hopefully you're all going to enjoy that. There's I have a little rant in it. I will say a little rant, but you'll see it on the video, and I hope you'll enjoy it, because I tell you what, it was hard work. So yeah, it's about a 4.5 hour drive down there. Getting set up, doing the filming. I mean, really, we slept from 2 till 6, and that was about the only time we weren't doing anything, because we only had a few days. So it was a flat out, and it's quite funny. I come back with about 6 hours of footage, which is edited down into 2 half-hour videos. What can you say? But again, it was. I didn't want to end up with videos that were like 2.5 hours long. It would have been just, oh, here's Mitch and Mac walking up a hill. Here's Mitch and Mac walking down a hill. Here's Mitch and Mac walking up yet another hill. So I tried to sort of look for the bits that I thought were A, worth the view, and B, you'd find interesting, and hopefully you do. Yeah, and if you like that, if you like the two videos, give me the feedback, let me know, and we'll have a go at doing some more. There are a few other places for us to visit and that. There's also it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, did he fall in the cave? They had to land the helicopter on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah, it did rain cats and dogs. Yeah, so that was a good adventure. If you like what we did there, video wise, like I say, let us know. We'll look at doing some more. And again, what I'd like to do next year is maybe set up something down there where people could come down, spend a couple of days, maybe a weekend or something, and yeah, we'll all get together and have a bit of a wild camp together. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely spot.
So if you can find some sort of southern one, and then find one that's northern as well, it means
that's
you
the
can
other thing.
sort of swap.
Well, it's maybe pop up and see Sam up in Yorkshire when we get a chance, and have a look round up there, see what we can find up there. You know, it's it'd be nice to get out and meet some people. Adventures. And I do apologise about the chat. For whatever reason, when I've set up tonight and it's come up and I've gone live, it's come up in slow mode. I don't even know what slow mode is. It's probably realised that I've not got my reading glasses. So how's everybody doing? I know Mike's having his adventures down in Cornwall. Well, that's it, Sam. Yeah, it's all about exploring, and the local knowledge is where it works. So I'm quite lucky in the fact that I know the West Country, I won't say like back of my hand, but very, very, very well. And I also, Wiltshire, Hampshire, I'm pretty good with those because obviously training areas, you know, I've spent years and years out there. When it gets up to the rest of the country, yeah, not quite so much. Yeah, I think the computer realised I'm struggling a little bit with my age, my glasses, and what have you.
The fact his granddaughter running ragged today.
We've been run ragged by a toddler. Took my granddaughter for a walk around the park. I'll tell you everybody right at the beginning, but I'll tell you again. Took my granddaughter for a walk around a local country park. Beautiful place. It's a nature park, really, isn't it?
Nature,
turned it back to nature. Lovely gravel track, so it's great for Kazla on the mobility scooter. I've got my granddaughter, and she's just found her feet, so she's got a toddler reins. And I thought, we'll walk around and get her tied. A toddler can run 2 to 3K, do you? So I was absolutely exhausted.
We're coming up to, we'll be going up to near York.
Yes, we are, aren't we? We're up, me and Kaz are up near York
on the 20th of September.
20th of September. We're only up for the day. We're going to be up overnighting, picking up a dog, and then coming back. So, yeah, maybe we could arrange a little meet-up or something whilst we're up there. You know, and if there's anybody else up that way.
We're staying in Scarborough.
Yeah.
And then the following day, we're going to go up to Whitby.
Yeah, so if there's any of you Yorkshire lads up there, you know the area, you sort it amongst yourselves and we'll arrange a meet-up, maybe at a cafe or something, have a cup of tea, shake hands, have a natter.
And we'll have a little, a little friend for everyone to meet. Willow.
We've got a little friend, a little buddy to bring back, channel mascot, little adventure dog. Yeah, World War II history. Do you know what, Sam? I was reading up on this. It's like down here, so we've got, obviously being South Coast and that, preparing for invasion.
Tanmere.
We got absolutely. Oh, excellent. Well, we can arrange a meet up then. I can travel out. We've got pillboxes. We've got artillery placements. We've got all sorts all along the South Coast. And inland, obviously, protect London. And you know, it's quite sad, really. None of them are protected. Military structures from World War II have no protection in the UK. They're not seen as historical sites, which I think is a real shame, especially as some of them are so well constructed and in such a quick period of time. It was an emergency. These things weren't, I say, thrown up. They were put up quickly. But they were so well built, they're still standing today. And a lot of them, dry as a bone. You know, I know of 2 or 3, well, one especially, local to me, that would make a brilliant spot for an overnight camp. However, the best one, last time I went in there, had a bat in it. Now, I've not got any fear of bats. However, in the UK, there's such a protected species. You know, you so much as give them a filthy look, you're going to go 5 years.
in prison.
Oh, derelict POW camp. I'll tell you what, Sam. I might bring my GoPro up. Won't be able to do much, but maybe do an half hour or something. Go out and have a look. Do a meet up. We'll make that a video. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. It's yeah. Hey, yeah, that's a plan, isn't it? So anyway, I'm just going to swing a bit more beside her. Look at my comments. Not that I can read them with these glasses on. I've got a hammock camp coming up soon. Me and Mac are going to go out and do a hammock camp. Nice, easy one. And I've got a new hammock to try out, a One Tigris hammock and underquilt. Never had an underquilt before. Ooh, should be interesting. Give that a try. And like I say, this week I am at a festival. One of the things I do as a hobby, I volunteer for our local Hampshire, Berkshire 4x4 response. And these are guys that own 4x4s that volunteer their time free of charge to assist things like the emergency services, rescue groups, and so on. And we also help out with events. And we do a lot of work with charity events. So the event I'm at this weekend will be Car Fest, which is a big charity event down near us. And basically all we're there for is to help recover vehicles, or if anything needs moving around the site, we'll assist moving it around the site with our 4x4s. Don't get paid for it. Don't get anything for it. But at the end of the day, they're raising money for charity. So it's all a good cause. It's all for charity, my friend. All for charity. But yeah, I do that every year.
You lost your glasses too. What's what? Twins, you two? Twins.
I shall have a look, mate. I think my reading glasses are still down on Dartmoor. There's probably a sheep down there with my glasses on going, well, so I can read the sun now.
Show on the sheep.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Yeah. Make it interesting. Yeah, so what was I? I completely lost my train of thought. Sorry, I'm exhausted. Yeah, Car Fest. So I'll be down there doing that. So it's one of the reasons we did the video when we did. It's to give me 2 videos. So I've got one that I've already edited it. Rather proud of it. I will say so myself. And that will be uploaded for you guys next week whilst I'm at Car Fest. So whilst you're watching that, just think, poor old Mick, he's there watching many thousands of people get themselves stuck. Just keep your fingers crossed it doesn't rain.
Some lovely cars there, but
the big orange ball, yeah. It's I've actually had people drop to their knees, whimpering and crying when the sun's come out. I've also seen people go, "What the f is that? There's a big glowy thing in the sky. I don't like it. It's scary."
It's a huge comet.
So you got a badger setting up with. I thought you might have badgers down there, Mac. That might be a job for the old game camera. Excellent.
Yes, FU crew. I don't know about you, but the UK, we sort of thought, the summer has sort of skipped us.
Yeah, it has skipped us.
We've had spring.
Well,
yeah.
Right, so I'm doing a bit, as you know, I like my history and that. I'm a bit of I just like history. And one of the things that I noted, I was noting weather events, especially winter weather events around the world, not just in the UK, over the centuries. And it's quite interesting how often big forest fires, like we've had this year, could end up leading to heavy snowfall in the northern latitudes. And I hadn't thought about it. Reading the article, it was quite interesting. They were saying what happens is the soot particles end up in the higher atmosphere. Okay, and when the temperature drops, those little microscopic dust particles is what the water adheres to and starts the growth of the snowflake. So they were saying that in years where we got a lot of dust or a lot of smoke or a lot of issues in the atmosphere that way, it tends to create it. Thing to look for, warnings for that, is if we start to get through October, November into December, we start getting very, very pink skies at night. The pink of the sky tends to, they're saying it's the ice crystals, and the ice crystals obviously are forming on these dust particles. So if you get extremely vivid skies, yeah, it's a sign it's going to snow. Be interesting to see how that comes on. Over 100 for next week.
We managed to get up to 24 today, but it didn't last that long, did it?
No. So camp in Alabama next Saturday might be rough. Oh mate, my sympathy to you. Over 100 degrees. I just, like I say, I'm a bit more of a cold weather person. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not so keen on the Arctic, but yeah, I can deal with cold.
So Max got foxies
too. Yeah, and again, so predicting a mega winter. So yeah, be prepared, guys. Stock up, have your supplies, sort yourselves out. Remember what happens when it gets bad. You know, especially well, we're not prepared for it in southern England at all. So it becomes an absolute nightmare here. Nobody has snow tyres. Nobody has snow chains. The infrastructure's not designed for it. Most of the buildings
can't go to work, can't get food.
Yeah, most of the buildings aren't prepared for it. All the lunatics panic and then go out and panic buy, and that leads to shortages because obviously stuff can't get moved around because the haulage industry is restricted due to the weather conditions. That just leads to a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, a little bit of preparation. Make sure you're covered.
I always make sure we've got flour, rice, pasta, anything I can, if need be, because we've got so many of the camping equipment here.
Oh, crikey, yeah, I've probably got enough cook sets to keep us going for a couple of months.
Oh dear. Blimey, 7 hours.
Yeah, it's yeah. But again, have that car kit sorted. Yeah, worst comes to worst, shelter in the car.
Amazes me that people don't, in the winter, over UK at least, they don't put a blanket, they don't have a spade in the car. Yep. You know, a snack, a book.
Well, I've had it. So when I go back to the West Country, one of the routes for me, and again, I'm explaining it so some of you guys aren't in the UK, but got a main route for me into the West Country is down a road called the A30, and it crosses Dartmoor and it crosses Bodminmoor. Dartmoor's not quite so bad; it's fairly well maintained. But when you get onto Bodminmoor, there's two stretches there that if it snows, that's it. The road is shut. Whatever's on the road is stuck. You're not going anywhere. Happens every year. And again, the way it goes with weather in the UK, they don't put out an alert and say it's going to do this. It's a high moor. It can 9 times out of 10, they put out an advisory that could possibly, and it blows through. So one of those. But I've had it where I'm sat there and the traffic stopped. Now I've always got the kit with me, so I know I'm okay. But then you get that responsibility thing in your head. You're like, are the people behind me okay? Do they have kids in the car?
Elderly.
Are they elderly? Are they sick? Are they infirm? There's somebody that needs meds. Are they all right? I'm physically capable. I'm fit. I've got all my kit with me. I've got my warm gear. I've got my brew kit and all the rest of it. So then usually what I'll do is I'll get out and I'll start bimbling back down. I've got things like electronic road flares. So again, if I've got somebody in a car that is in a bad way or they're high risk, stick a road flare on the roof of the car. As soon as I can contact, flag down, or notify the emergency services, we've got somebody who's a heart patient, or somebody who's diabetic, they haven't got their insulin, or there's small children, whatever, I've got them there. Just in case they're running out of fuel, push comes to shove, it's move them up to my vehicle, keep them warm in my vehicle. And again, if it's a group of lads that are in their 20s in the car, well, sorry, boys, sort your shit out. You're going to have to keep yourselves moving and look after yourselves. I'll keep an eye on you, but that's all I'm doing for you. But there are other people that you've got responsibility for. And I'm not saying you have to, but the way I personally feel is if I'm okay with my skill set, my mindset, there is a little bit of responsibility to try and assist other people.
It's always good,
especially those that might not understand. They might be their first time there, or they're just not equipped for it. Not everybody is as up on it as the rest of us. So again,
I'll get your gas now, Sam, while it's cheap.
Sam,
because it's start colder.
I work on an alternative mindset. So when I say alternative mindset, it's not really an alternative mindset. I work on a reverse mindset when it comes to buying my stock. I buy my gas in the summer when it's cheapest. Okay? Buy my gas in the summer when it's cheapest because the shops are bulked out in it because of all the camping. Another month down here, isn't it? About September down here. Everybody's selling off all their gas bottles, cheap as chips, because they don't want the camping stock because end of camping season. Yeah. And then once it's reduced, I buy it, I bulk it. Okay. I will literally go in and go, oh, you've reduced that from £5 to £3. Go on. I'll have half a dozen packs. Same thing the other way around. If every year we sit there and we go, right, do we need a new electric fan? I'll buy it in the winter. I'll buy it in the winter sales. Okay. And then I'll just put it away for the next summer. Yeah. The other thing is, Sam, have a look online as well. I got some gas bottles through Amazon. And
you get a deal sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes you can get some really, really good deals on Amazon. So have a look at that, mate. That sometimes works out. Not always, sometimes. Shop around, mate. Shop around. So be surprised what you can find. And again, as I say, stock up on the basics. Bit of pasta, bit of rice. I mean, I'm not a fan of pasta or rice. I tend to have a low carb diet. I should say low carb. I try and maintain a low carb diet. I'm on more of a protein diet. But I've got it there. I've got it stocked because it lasts forever. And if push comes to shove, it makes a meal. I'm not a big lover of pasta of any sort. But yeah, you stick a tin of minced beef and onions with it, a little bit of tomato and a little bit of seasoning, and you're laughing.
And he doesn't want a rice pudding.
Yeah, I do like a rice pudding. She makes a cracking rice pudding. Oh yeah, I do love a rice pudding. Yeah. Yes. See, there you go. There's another one on a winter's day. Winter's day, come in, and I'm very lucky. My wife's a very, very good cook, and one of my favourites on a winter's day is oxtail stew. God, I love that. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I do love that. Or a rice pudding, and she'll do a rice pudding, and I'll come in. Used to come in back off the training areas and that. 8-9 hours out there, or even like an 18-hour day if I'd had a night shoot and the rest of it, and I'd come back and I would be gipping, absolutely sort of hanging. Come in and I'd walk in and it'd be 1:30 in the morning, been cold all day. Walk in, she'd go, rice pudding's in the pot.
Oh. Yeah, then you eat it all, and then Jason don't get it,
and then I'd plough through it, and that's yeah. I've been known to sort of overeat a little bit on rice pudding. So, what do you want for dinner? Rice pudding. What do you want for pudding? Rice pudding. You have breakfast, rice pudding. Yeah.
I love sourdough.
Yeah.
Sourdough rolls.
Clam chowder. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's nice, thick, creamy sourdough roll. Yeah, you can't go wrong with it. Well, there you go. There we go. Because we I'm running short of things to say tonight. Come on in. So, what's your let's say survival food? What not your survival food, but in the perfect meal for you.
Sorry, Jim.
To get over the. Oh, sorry, Jim. I do apologise, mate. But what is the perfect one for you? What is that if you could choose one thing as your survival food in a cold, wet situation, what's it going to be?
Beef stew and dumplings.
Oh, see,
yeah.
Beef stew and dumplings.
You like your shepherd's pie, though, don't you?
I do like a shepherd's pie. And I like my Mexican shepherd's pie as well.
Yeah.
Stew.
Yeah, stew.
Good.
My granny used to put everything in it. So we have lentils, pearl barley, oregano, anything and everything in with the meat and the carrots.
Yeah.
Crusty top dumplings on there.
Pot roast, T-bone steak.
Oh yeah.
Potatoes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, some of the Idaho mash you get over there, Derek, it's not fair. We don't get any of that.
No, we get butter. Was it butter, herb,
and garlic? That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, we do get a cheese, but not like you. You get smoky cheese and bacon and.
No, we get the gothic. I'll tell you what happens. Idaho, they sit there and they go, yeah, the Americans got reasonable taste and they got plenty of choice. I thought all the crap we can't sell, we should be having to Britain and be grateful for what they get. Red beans and rice, New Orleans style. Oh yeah, oh yeah, we spoke about it. Nice.
Oh yeah, do like a good old roast.
Oh yeah, go
with pigs in blankets.
Yeah, got pigs in blankets.
For our American friends, you know what pigs in blankets are? They're sausages, and you wrap bacon around them, and you have them. You bake them in the oven with the turkey and the roast potatoes.
And then you can have fat pigs in blankets, which is take your sausage, slice it down the centre, stuff it with cheese, wrap it with bacon, cook it. Oh yeah. Nom, 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 nom. Nom, 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 nom.
The other thing that Mitch, and going back to Dartmoor, that Mitch and Mac found was the fact that a lot of the cafes they went in, all they did was vegan and vegetarian.
Yeah.
Food.
You look through menus and it's all veggie.
No bacon.
No bacon.
No meat.
The cafe at Dartmoor, no bacon. Frey Bentos pie. Oh, smashed beans, classy.
Oh, that's my granddad's favourite, the old Frey Bentos pie in a tin.
I wouldn't say it's a classy. Oh no, I would say it's classy. I wouldn't say it's cheap.
Date. Yeah. Mind you, they're about £2 now. Those Frey Bentos. You should get them for about £1, didn't you?
I've sat and eaten a whole one on my own.
Oh, hot dogs in cans. Yeah, it's not very often we get them in jars, is it?
Yeah, we get them in cans. In fact, I've got some here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steak. Yeah, I love a steak. I'm a ribeye man. I do like a ribeye. I keep saying that I'm going to treat myself because it's exorbitantly pricey to a tomahawk steak. But I just can't really. I sort of look at it and go, justify the price of that, and I know I'm going to get the meat sweats.
Sorry, like a leg of lamb, but it's like £32 now.
Yeah.
For a leg of lamb, it's. Oh, I don't mind the pancakes sound nice. I'm not so keen on eggs.
No, you don't go much on eggs Benedict.
No,
I like it.
Anything with cinnamon. I love cinnamon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now, see me, my ultimate winter survival food. And I'm going to have to do it in the Dutch oven, aren't I, this winter? Yeah. I like what I call Mexican shepherd's pie, which is a really good thick chili. You know, absolutely a good thick dense chili, lined with potatoes. Oh.
No, I don't think a tomahawk steak is the same as a porterhouse, is it?
I don't know. I don't know.
So a tomahawk for us is like it's about sort of that thick, and it's actually the shape of a tomahawk.
Still on the rib. It's pretty much the whole cut. I'd have to have a word with Jason. He knows more about it than I do.
Yeah,
but
Jason, you still awake?
They are huge. Jason, wake up! Where are you? Hampshire Outdoors Kitchen. Need your advice, chef. Yeah.
The resident chef is sleeping.
So I'm a pink man. I'm not a blue man. It's
depends. It's cold and you're naked. Yeah, they do look.
Yeah, they do look like they're from a dinosaur. It's one of those cuts of meat. You look at it and you go, it's what would I call it? I call it a piggy cut. By piggy cut, I don't mean it insulting in any way to anybody, but it's one of those things that really it's an unnecessary. You know, it's a very occasional, real luxury. Blimey, I'm going to have a blowout, and I'm not going to move for 2 days afterwards. And I'm probably going to block my bowel with protein for the next couple of days. I know I'll regret it. But yeah, it's just one of those. I see it and I go, God, I've never tried it. I have to try it.
It's worth about 30 quid.
So for me, it's got to be, right, and the Mexican shepherd's pie. So a real thick chili with buttered mashed potatoes on the top, and then cheeses. When I mean cheeses, and the way to do it is old cheeses. Those bits of cheese. If you know you're going to make one, those bits of cheese that you would normally go, I'm just going to use that up. I'm just going to use that up. No, put them all in a bag together. Leave them for a few days. Do your shepherd's pie. Brown the top, then grate the cheese, and then cook the cheese so the outer edges go crispy. Absolutely to die for. Absolutely to die for. You got that little bit of spice and a nice kick from the chili. You've got the butter and the cream of the mashed potatoes. You've got the crispy layer of cheese on top. Oh,
you're gonna want that for dinner tomorrow, now, aren't you?
Possibly. I'm not hinting. No. I'm not hinting. No, that's one of my favourites. Other than that, what are my other favourites? Quesadillas. I like a quesadilla. Or favourite for me. God, oxtail. I love oxtail. Yeah, it's got to be a stew, really, winter food.
Yeah, we still owe them a pasty review. Michael, when you come back, can you bring us a proper one back, please?
Yeah.
Because you said you were going to do a proper one.
Get online.
Yep.
Yeah, order me some pasties. I can get them sent up from Cornwall, but they have to be brought up by a pasty smuggler.
They're frozen in a box.
Yeah, it cost me a fortune because they have to be brought across the border.
Yeah, me too, Ray. It's too much steak for me.
Yeah. Pasty dogs on the border to make sure they're not slipped out. I'm sorry, Jim. We'll get off of food. All right. Sex. So.
Do you do meat raffles? We have quite a few of the pubs do meat raffles in the UK. I don't know if they do it in the US.
Yeah, right. But it's one of those things that you look at it. I mean, it probably do me 2 or 3 days. I doubt if I could eat the whole thing. But again, it's one of those things you look at it and you go, oh, paella. Oh, God, this is a good word.
Paella.
Yeah. Yeah. Mate, just a standard.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Just a standard steak one, mate. That would be brilliant. Yeah.
Or just a normal one, you know.
Yeah. Or even a lamb one if they've got it. So there you go, mate. We've got. Or yeah, just a standard Cornish pasty.
I could do a 30-second one on it.
I do. Yeah, it won't last long. Me reviewing a pasty is like, yeah, fat boy. Do like a pasty. And again, traditionally, poor man's food. Simple fare. Meat, potato, turnip, swede, carrot sometimes. Please do, John.
Yeah.
Please do. Yeah.
I don't think there is. We do have vegetarian one day a week normally, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you what, Ray, I've had that myself. You know, you go to a restaurant and the plate comes and you look at it and you go, oh, that's going to be embarrassing. There's no way I can finish that.
Then you get those ones that come in and it's got like a little leaf.
It was, Jim. It was a miner's food. So pasty was made with a very thick rolled crust, and originally it was literally a flour and water mixture. The things were like concrete. Okay, so salt, flour, water. It was a salt. Is it a salt?
Yeah, it's water pastry.
Water pastry. Okay, so it was made to be really, really strong. And the idea was you made a thick pastry. You filled it with all the fillings, and it was cheap cuts. I mean, it was poor man's food, so it was offal. It was whatever you could scrounge get together. Sometimes it was fish, yeah. Potato, which was grown quite commonly down there. Turnip, swede, whatever you could get, and you put it in the pastry, and then you bake it. And in baking it, it slow cooks it. Okay, so basically you steam the meat and the vegetables inside the pasty. Take it out of the oven.
Hi, Claire.
Take it out of the oven, and then what that's going to do, that's going to keep the food hot for a long period of time, but it's also a really solid container for the food. And
like a bowl, wasn't it?
Yeah, it would be taken to the mine shaft and usually lowered down the mine shaft in a bucket. Now, another little bit of tradition people don't realise, you always see the old picture of the guy that's going tramping with a stick over his shoulder, and he's always got a hanky. Okay, on that actually goes back to the tin miners. So every tin miner knew whose pasty was whose. The wife would wrap it in a cloth, and each family would have their own pattern on the cloth. Okay, so it'd be wrapped in that, tied up, put into a bucket, and lowered down to the miners. Each miner knew his cloth. He'd take his pasty out, and the knack was you would break the pasty and hold it by the crust where the crust was crimped. And the reason you would do that is the tin mines in Cornwall are riddled with arsenic. Okay, it's everywhere. It's a mineral. It's all over Cornwall, and obviously these guys had learned through the years that you've got arsenic on your hands, you've got all that there. You don't want to be ingesting it. So there was two methods: break it open, shovel it down like that, or break the top off. Hold. If you think the pasty being dome shaped, so it's hold it, break the top off, and then use that really hard crust that's on the top as a spoon. Scoop it down your throat. Now, North Cornwall, it was quite common to find a pasty with two ends to it, especially if you had a very good wife who was a good cook, or you were a little bit better off. And then what you'd have, on one side you'd have your meat and vegetables, and on the other side, and it'd be separated section, on the other side you'd have things like stewed apple or stewed fruit. Okay, so it was literally blackberries, things like that, and they would literally be put in there. And when I say stewed, it was actually cooked in the oven inside the pastry. And yeah, that's where it all comes from. Same thing with the cloth for wrapping it in. Crimps on the pasties, some of those were used as a way of indicating, what it was in it or who had made it. So it would be mum would have her crimp, daughter would have her crimp, so-and-so's wife would have her way of crimping it. It was just a way of.
And after you eat, you would use it as a weapon and throw it at people.
Well, they used to chuck the pastry down the mines for the knockers. It was.
And boobs.
No, we're not talking boobs. Okay, so knockers were spirits that lived in the tin mines, and they would down the mine shaft, and that would lure men away into them. Sometimes the knockers, if you looked after them, i.e. you gave them the crusts, they could be benevolent, and they would warn you if there was gas and things like that down there, which was a very real risk to the guys at the mining. Other times they would lure you into danger. So, the guys would leave little offerings, they would leave little bits of their food, they would leave little bits of tobacco as offerings to the spirits of the mines to keep them safe. Again, comes back to spirituality. When you're working in an environment like that, and if you think a tin mine in the 1700s, if the lights went out, it was candles.
We've been in
Yeah,
some, haven't we?
yeah, we've been down a couple of tin mines, and
Not
they
boobies.
turn the lights out. And when I say it is impossible to see your nose, it is impossible to see your nose. There is zero light. There is no light coming from anywhere. It's absolutely the darkest thing you can. And it's a weird thing that if you stand there for a few minutes, you start to lose your complete physical orientation, as in up, down, left, right. It all starts to blur into one because you have absolutely zero reference. And in a normal environment, there is always some sort of reference. Even on the darkest night, the foggiest day, there's always some sort of reference. But in that sort of situation, it is so disorientating. So these guys knew that when it goes wrong in those places, it went wrong bad. And there was very often no coming out. So they would literally anything they could do to make them feel better, anything they could do to take the edge.
Yeah, Mike, me, and Mac went to a place in Cornwall called
Hi Claire. Hi
Caverns.
Mark. How you doing?
And you go down into these mines, and they turn the lights off, and there's nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
No sound.
No.
No nothing. It's literally, and it's quite weird how you start to hear your own heartbeat in those environments. Quite really starts to thump. Known as Tommy knockers in the US. Yes. Well, the other thing is, a lot of the traditions from the Cornish miners travelled all around the world. It is said that there is not a mine anywhere in the world that does not have a dead Cornishman at the bottom of it. Okay. The reason was because from the 1400s onwards, the Cornish were prolific miners. Okay,
Yeah.
They travelled all around the world. There's songs about Cousin Jack, and Cousin Jack was the name given to the Cornish miners. They were illiterate men. Okay, and what would happen is a guy would go and work for a mine company in America. Being an experienced tin miner, these guys mined through granite. They also mined out undersea. Okay, so they really knew their stuff. And as they migrated out, they would turn up at mines in Australia, in America, in Canada, in Russia, Siberia, all over. And quite often they'd be asked, are there any more men like you in your village? And the term that was always used was, I'll get you to write to my cousin Jack. And that was the name they used. It was literally a generic, and it was a case of my cousin Jack, so that'd be any of the guys in the village that were looking for work. So the instruction would go back, get your bums out here.
Dirty faces.
Yeah, so they reckon there's not a mine shaft anywhere in the world, right, that didn't have a Cornishman in it.
Dirty Faces said, do you remember the Steptoe song one where the old man used his teeth to crimp the edge of a pie?
Yeah, I remember that.
I wasn't able to go to Wookie Hole because of my scooters.
Yeah, Wookie Hole. Yeah, got to be careful about that. I mean, it's Wookie Hole. Yeah. Right. It's just, it might get upset at the big, isn't it?
No, not Wookie as in Star Wars. You.
Oh.
You've been drinking too much like water down. There's too much iron in the soil.
I turned my torch on in the Wookiee's hole. The Wookiee said, "Oh, God bless my soul."
Take yourself from the corner and have a word with yourself.
Okay. Word had. Yeah. Oh, so ventures. What are we up to? Oh, so I've told you guys what we're doing this week. Told you what we did last week. Yeah, I think we're at 1:49. I am exhausted. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm probably going to call it quits in the next in about 10 minutes because we're shattered. I'm how exhausted I am. I've already drunk half a bottle of cider. I'll swig that down before we go down. Anyhow, so.
Any questions, anyone?
Any questions? Anything anybody needs to know? Anything anybody would like to ask?
Anyone tell us a funny story about the weekend?
Andy, not a problem, mate. Glad to have you aboard as always. You know, to all you guys, thank you very much for all your support. I'm always pleased to see you on a Sunday in my pub, shall we call it, in my pub for the social.
Sitting on his throne.
Yeah, sitting here on my throne, waffling and waffling away. You poor souls. Do feel for you. Yeah. Mate, I shall have a look. But we are.
It's getting dark.
It's dark now, mate.
Yeah.
Dark here, the lights dropping. Not full dark. I'm probably see enough to wander around without torch and that. But it is getting that way. I mean, John, enjoy your leave, mate.
Yes.
Or your vacation. Have a great time.
Want to hear some stories?
Yeah, here's some stories. Look, have a great time, mate. Just enjoy yourself. Don't worry too much about us here. Okay, have fun. And keep yourself cool. Watch that old heat. Yeah, it creep up on you. It can be a bit of a bugger. And we will look forward to speaking to you when you get back from your leave. Combine harvester. Combine harvester I've had. Oh, why not? I've not had one. I've worked on them. Yeah. Combines there. Done a bit of combine in my time. I remember as a nipper walking along, picking up bales, stacking bales. Used to have to follow the trailer, the tractor, all heaving them up. Oh, excellent,
Oh, nice.
Ray. That's it, though.
Was your hot dogs in a tin, Ray? Or were they in a jar? Right. Or in a plastic bag?
Right, that's the way to do it. Get them out there. Do you know what? Can't wait for my granddaughter to be old enough for me to start taking her out camping and things like that. You know, another 6 months, be laughing. No, but I'm looking forward to teaching her and sharing it with her, sharing some of the skills, teaching her not to be frightened or scared of the dark, to actually enjoy being out in nature. Doing it today. I mean, she's a toddler, but I'm walking around and I'm showing her plants and things and pointing bits and pieces out to her and pointing the animals and that out to her. It's what we're here for, isn't it? We pass on our knowledge and have fun.
There's a lot of mosquitoes then, John. It's near the swamp phase.
Swamp phase. Yeah. Oh yeah, the SBS lads are quite good at that actually.
Can't be a good old hot dog.
Been a couple of competitions out there, I believe. A couple of breakfast bacon and salmon wrapped in foil.
Ooh. Sounds good.
Nice, Derek. Nice, mate. You're going to sit back and enjoy that, my friend. Sit back and enjoy that.
You do like fricadellans, don't you, as well?
Yeah, right.
You and Mac.
Oh, fricadellans and bratwursts. And bockwursts even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, like a bratty. But you've got to eat it properly. If you, fricks. Yeah. Oh, you've got to have curry ketchup with it. And yeah. Cheers, Foxy lady. Much appreciated.
And I hope your dad's chair comes soon.
Yeah, look forward to getting up there and seeing you guys then next month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Next month.
20th,
meet up with you guys.
21st.
Yeah.
I've got to Whitby as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never been to Whitby.
No, I've
always fancied it.
Dracula. The vampire bits.
Yeah. Bram Stoker, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Love a bratty.
Yeah, we know you love a bratty.
Yeah, we know you love a bratty.
And your flipping curry tomato sauce.
Yeah, curry tomato sauce. I've educated a few people on that. Oh, yeah. That's what we'll have to do, Mac. Next time we're out on a camp, that's it. We're going to do bratties.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
Dylan.
Open fire, grill, bratties. Yeah, I'll get you to mix up your famous curry sauce, bring it along with you. Yeah. Ooh. That'll be a good one. No worries, my sweetheart. You take it easy. Have a great week. Sam, keep smiling, mate. Don't let it get you down. Just keep plodding. That's all I did. Occasionally I'll put up a video and it bums. And occasionally I'll put up a video and it does well. You know, it's what you do. Right, so pub law in UK, depending on the pub and depending on the town. So every council has its own rules and regulations, but on the whole, a pub can apply to stay open 24 hours if it wishes in the UK, as long as it's not going to cause a problem with any of the locals. But the majority of pubs tend to shut here for about 11 o'clock. They tend to put up last orders for 10:30, shut for 11. There are some that go 11 last orders and then shut for 11:30. Where I used to work on the door with Mac and that, in them days, the pubs used to be shut by 11 and the nightclubs then ran till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So you used to have the situation where everybody came out the pubs, last orders, and made a dash for the
and
nightclub.
It's got to be HP. House of Parliament all the time.
Yeah. Got to be a bit of brown. Or as I say in London, a bit of bran. Bran sauce. Bran sauce on bacon.
Live stream for a pub, a real pub.
Well, we might be able to do that. We might be able to do that. Might be able to find a landlord. Might get Mac to have a chat to his. Yeah, it's doing my head in as well, mate. What I'm going to do, I will disable that next week when I do the setup. What I think happened is when I've done the actual setup for the live stream, I've probably clicked a wrong button somewhere and clicked it for slow mode. Next week, it will not be on slow mode. Now, I said last week that I wasn't going to be here Sunday. I am going to be here next Sunday. What I've done, I've arranged to come back from the festival early. I'm going to bail on the guys and leave them for the last 2 days. So I shall be back here on the Sunday night for the live stream. So we will be up and running next Sunday. And I will try, not really supposed to, but I'll try and post a couple of shorts from the festival. Just show you basically what it was like and that.
Cooking in your boot.
Give you an idea. And this time, the festival, rather than me taking my camping trailer, I'm actually going to be living out the back of the car. So I'm going to be car camping in the old Land Rover Discovery. Because I just didn't want all the hassle of taking loads of gear down with me and then have to set it up. So it's only going to be 3 nights. Yeah, it's only 3 nights. I can man up 3 nights in the car.
We need it next month anyway for the.
Yeah, so I'll be sorted in that. And then in September we take the trailer down to the steam rally. So again, you'll all get to see it then. In fact, I'm actually doing a video.
Jason's doing one of his as well, isn't he?
Yeah, at the steam rally, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a video down there for you guys, and that will be camper trailers, roof tents, that sort of thing. So I've got a group of friends, and they've all got various methods for camping with their 4x4s. So I'll do a little one on that, just something a bit different. Might interest some of you, might not. Don't know. Try and do different things. Yeah, and I'll do a video from the steam rally as well. I'll give you guys a bit of a guided tour of a Cornish steam rally. And I'm not being too arrogant, but one of the greatest Cornish steam rallies. It's a lovely little village, a very nice little community.
One of these steam traction engines is 100 years old, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the one they used to generate electricity for the showground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this slow mode is a pain in the arse. I do apologise, Matt. In fact, no. Try clicking that button up there. Right. So, guys, all of you, love you all. thank you very much for joining me tonight. Have an absolutely awesome week.
Stay
Have your
safe, be
adventures.
free.
Yeah, stay safe, be free, have your fun. Don't let the world grind you down. Love those you do. Forgive those you don't. And as always, peace and light be upon you all. May you all have a wonderful week, an awesome week, and I look forward to chatting to you next Sunday. Video will be up for you.
No.
Take it easy, my friends. Have a great one. And the video will be up for you on Thursday, and it'll be, I'll set it up for about 10 o'clock UK time for you guys. So for some of you, it'll be ready for Friday. And yeah, when I get back here Sunday, I'll probably be sat here for an hour reading all my comments. Excellent. You get Dad home. Brilliant.
Night, Ray.
I'm going to sit back for a second, finish my cigar, finish my cider. I'll let you guys all say your good nights and that. Pass on your regards to one another. This has been Mitch, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival, and the lovely Cass, and Mac from the Hampshire Hog Hunters. Wishing you all well. Who are? Is that my new hat?
No, it's your.
There we go. Kaz got me a little thing. She saw
a little.
She saw the video where I was filling the Sawyer filter bag up from my jug. She got me a little collapsible funnel from Temu,
yeah.
Temu.
About 50p.
About 50p. So that's actually going to get connected to my Sawyer water filter, and just makes life a little bit easier then, doesn't it?
You have a good week too.
You have a good week too, Sam.
Watching your video, your lovely black and white horse later.
Yeah, and guys, please, if I don't answer anything this week, please don't panic, because, like I say, I'm going to be away for a few days. So if you put a comment up or ask a question or something, I don't get back to you, don't panic. I will sort all that out Sunday when I get back. Derek, enjoy your barbecue, my friend. Yeah. I've just got this mental image of you.
I want to see you send me a photo, so I'll just go.
I've just got this mental image of it sat there. I can just see it and smell it in my mind's eye. I'm like, oh, it's going to be awesome. Swine. How dare you be enjoying yourself? Yeah. Yes. What a lovely, lovely evening. Thoroughly enjoyed it this evening.
Nighty night.
No, guys. Take care. Love to all.